TG Tutorials.
I'm reliable. Hey guys, it's Matt here, and welcome to another episode of TG Tutorials. And in this episode, I'm going to teach you how to hack your PlayStation Classic, which also means that it's another day in our PS1 mini week-long event that actually started and ended many weeks ago. But you know what? It's the channel, it's our channel. We can actually add more days retroactively if we like. So, why are we doing this now instead of then? Well, there was a hacking program that was available then. It felt very unstable to me. Apparently there were many different ways that you could end up crashing the entire console. So I thought about it. I thought, let me wait until it seems like something more stable is out. And it is. So before we show you exactly how to do this, though, I do want to show you exactly what you need.
And the first thing you'll need is a PlayStation Classic, which I know is kind of a dumb moment, but bear with me here, guys. So, I would suggest getting one brand new so you can get everything in there, because there are a few other things you are going to need that come with the PlayStation Classic. So, again, suggest you get one brand new. Now, when it comes to how much a brand new one might cost, depending on the month, year, just hour, perhaps, depending on when it is, Sony might actually be giving you money to take it off their hands. Now, as of this recording, they're going for about $60 to $70 depending on your retailer. And the next thing you'll need is a flash drive. Now, I would suggest getting one that's about my size, mine is 14 gigabytes. I would suggest not getting one that's 1 gig or even 4 gigs, because at first you think, oh yeah, these CD files, they're gonna be so small. After all, they used to fit on 700 megabytes on one CD at most. But the issue is not only dealing with multi-disc games, of course, but before you know it, you'll just end up having so many files that you want to just err on the side of caution. Get one that's bigger rather than smaller. And the next thing you're going to need is a micro USB cable. Now, if you bought the PlayStation Classic brand new, then congratulations, you are the proud owner of a micro USB cable alongside a PlayStation Classic. So, if you have that, perfect. If you don't, if you are someone who has a lot of games or even has an Android charger, there's a good chance that that will be a micro USB cable that you could use for this tutorial, and of course to power on your PlayStation Classic in general. And now you're going to have to download BleemSync. We're using the current version, of course, current version as of this recording, which is 1.0.1. Now, you could get it from this link right here, which is actually directly from BleemSync, but for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to get it from modmyclassics.com. And the reason why is because they actually put in a lot of cool goodies and things like that, and make it a lot easier for you to install this on your PlayStation Classic.
And now that you know what you need, let me show you exactly how to do it.
And before we move on, make sure to back up everything you had on the flash drive if it isn't a fresh one, because we're going to need to format it, which means that when you right-click, find the word format, and format this, all data on the flash drive is erased. So after doing that, we're going to need to rename the flash drive Sony in all caps. And now we open up the folder where you extracted your BleemSync files to. There should be 2 folders in there, and now take those 2 folders and throw them on your flash drive. And now let's take the PS1 Classic, and as you can see, the controller is plugged in, but nothing else is. Do not plug anything else in as of this time. What you will be plugging in first is your flash drive. And look at that, we did it. No, I'm just kidding. We actually did not do it. We are not done yet. And now we're going to need to plug in the HDMI cable and then plug in the power cable. And as you can see, there's an orange light right there, but do not turn the system on yet. Wait about 10 to 15 seconds. 1 second has passed. 2 seconds have passed. 3 seconds have passed. 4 seconds have passed. 5 seconds have passed. 6 seconds have passed. 7 seconds have passed. 8 seconds have passed. 9 seconds have passed. 10 seconds have passed. Alright, so now that we've done that, you can turn the system on, and you're going to notice it's going to actually turn on and then turn off and turn on again. So it does that every single time. Nothing's broken. It's just trying to boot normally, and then it realizes it's booting with the BleemSync program on your flash drive. As you can see, it says the console is going to restart in 5 seconds, but for some reason mine doesn't do that. So still, you should wait 5 seconds. 1 second has passed. And after doing that and turning your system on again, you're going to notice that it's going to do the same thing like it just did, except that now you can actually choose between RetroArch and BleemSync. Of course, we're going to choose BleemSync because that's what we're talking about today. And as you can see, while the main menu does look different, which I'm a little bit sad about, I do like the PlayStation 1 inspired memory card type menu, still... It's still all the games are still on just like they were before, and all of your saves are still there. So everything is exactly the same because we haven't added any new games just yet. So now we're going to need to do something that I don't want to do, but it does help with compatibility. So we're going to need to format the flash drive again. This time we're going to format it in exFAT. And of course keep the same name, so keep Sony. It can take a while, so you definitely might need to go do something else while this is happening. But yeah, you're gonna have to do this again. But after we do though, we can take the BleemSync files, the original ones, the unaltered ones, and copy and paste them onto the USB thumb drive again. Okay, so now let's make sure that everything is unplugged from the PlayStation Classic and plug the thumb drive into the second controller port. And now looking over at this side, we can actually plug in the power cable. But let's actually plug in the other side of the cable to our PC or laptop. And the games we're putting on the system today, which are from my personal collection, are Digimon World 1, Tomba, Dragon Ball Z Legends, and Tekken 2. And now you're going to want to head over to modmyclassics.com again and click Show More over here. Now there's a lot to read here, but for the purposes of this tutorial, let's go over to number 8 and click either the first or second link. Now if the second link isn't working, you can go to the first one. That did work for me. And also want to tell you guys, if for some reason, even though the PlayStation is clearly blinking and seemingly on, but it doesn't seem like it's connecting the way that it should be, and it's just showing this screen right here, then I would suggest waiting a little bit. Your computer might be trying to install the drivers and kind of register what in the heck your PlayStation Classic even is, especially if this is your first time ever doing something like this, connecting it to your computer. So wait at least a good maybe minute or so. And once your PC and laptop recognize your PlayStation 1 Classic, you can refresh that page and it should look just like this. And now it's time to add some games. So let's go over to choose files and remember to choose the bin and queue. Right now we're actually choosing Digimon World 1. And as you can tell, the box art is a little bit hard to see because yes, I have some problems with OBS, but as you can tell, the box art and all of the info that is needed to actually add the game onto the PlayStation Classic so that I could recognize it is automatically filled in. Now let's click on this button at the bottom right hand corner, and once you do, you can see a bar right there, and it's actually adding the game directly from your PC. This takes a while, so I skipped it, but now we're going to try to add another game, and we're going to try to add Tomba. Now, there is a problem with Tomba, and I don't know what it is. It might be based on the fact that my CD wasn't in the best shape, or it might be based on the fact that that game hasn't been added to the library as of yet. So either way, this really wasn't something that I expected. I expected it from Dragon Ball Z Legends because that's a Japanese game, but when this happened to Tomba, I was kind of left scratching my head. So I assume with further updates, further games will be able to automatically be added. You can add it in manually, but we will not be doing that for the purposes of this tutorial, but I could cover it in a future one. For now, let's try to add Tekken 2. So again, remember, open files and let's drag it over Tekken 2's bin and queue. And as you can see, it took a little bit, but it did load up and all of the necessary information has already been loaded in. So let's click that button on the bottom right hand corner, and that is a long loading bar. Again, maybe go make yourself a drink, make a sandwich. It'll take a while. But as you can see, both games have been added. So after we've done all that, you can remove the cord from your PC or laptop and set everything up just like you did before. And before you turn on your system, remember to have the flash drive still in the PS1 Classic. You are going to need to keep it in there because even though we did put on the games through the PC or laptop, you still have to load up BleemSync the same way that we've been doing for this entire tutorial. And you will have to do that every time you want to load new games on your PlayStation Classic. But let's check, and as you can see, we have Digimon World and Tekken 2 on the PlayStation Classic. But you know what, let's make sure they work. Let's load up Tekken 2, and I can't have the audio on for obvious reasons, but let's actually just take a look at this thing, and you can hear me talk over it. As you can see, first of all, it's not PAL, it is NTSC, and when looking at it, It does seem as if there are no frame rate issues. It's running just like it would on a normal PS1 or of course a PS1 Classic in this case, and there doesn't seem to be any weird graphical glitches or anything like that. It seems to run as if it is running natively on the system. And now let's load Digimon World 1. I wish we could hear that opening audio for the PlayStation 1. Just feels so good in my heart just thinking about it. So, as you can see, it is weird that it is loading like that, but if you remember, even on the original PlayStation, it did look weirdly widescreen like that. And also note that I am playing this, of course, through HDMI on a newer television. So, even though it does look like that, the opening cinematic, when you get to the main menu, it's going to look just like it normally would with the same aspect ratio. Alright, so let's jump back to me in front of the shelf.
And look at that, your console didn't crash, which is actually a plus when you spend any kind of money on anything. So, we're going to wrap up this video. Before we do, if you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. If you don't like the video, you can still like and subscribe either way. I'm totally fine with that. I accept it. So, before you leave though, I just want to say that if you have any questions, please comment down below and I'll try to answer them as best as I can when my bell isn't ringing. Also, would like to say that I love you all. Take care. Tune in next time to another episode of TG Tutorials. That really threw me off. See ya!